When you go from build up to drop, you have more because the build up's quieter. So you've recorded your DJ mix, maybe your first one, maybe not your first one, and you want to publish it, and you set your levels correctly, so you've also know that it's best to compress the last file, so you've put the recording into WAV file or WAV file. There are some problems with that file, where first of all, it's extra dynamic, it's like over dynamic, it's actually minus 15 LUFS, not loud enough. If you want to publish on YouTube, you will be 1 dB quieter than normal videos because YouTube does not boost the loudness. So you have a drop and it's picking around -4, -5. Yeah, okay, so you have something like 4 decibels of headroom. So yeah, just slap a limiter onto it and you can squeeze 4 decibels more of the loudness and basically no penalty. But what about this moment? We are not in the drop section. We are in between transitions. There are 2 songs playing at the time and we are actually -2. You just squeeze those and it's gonna sound fine because like few decibels of limiting with like so short peaks will be inaudible. Yeah, okay, but what about actually louder parts but drops, like I think this one? This one is -2 and it's a drop. So if you're gonna compress, for example, 4 dB, the first part that I've showed you will be okay. The part with the transition will be somewhat okay because you don't care about squeezing those transit a bit. But this drop will sound worse. So what you can do? Well, you can apply a list of plugins to help a bit. So this is the file that I just showed you. This is the same file, this is the time of it, and here's a plugin list. So first thing that I've done, I've decreased the gain by 6 dBs to have some headroom, because this track is normalized to 0 dB full scale. So it's not gonna clip, it's true peak normalized. So the first thing that I've done, I thought, well, maybe let's squeeze a bit more punch from it, just a tiny bit. So when the drop hits hard, it's gonna hit even harder. So the first thing that I do, I go like the lowest band as it goes, so like 78 to 400. So this band, the green one, catches kick and snare. Yeah, and a bit of like some synthesizers. This one is the sub bass. It's, well, not sub bass, it's bass and sub bass. So this is the thump of the kick, and also like some very low synthesizers will be in that range as well. So what I've done, the lower frequencies, I went with the medium settings and I've just boosted it just a bit of a tact, sustain state at 0, to give it just a little bit more punch. And with the kick and snare area, I gave it 2 dBs and set it to sharp, so it nicely catches those. Let's see that. You can see that the graph resembles the kick pattern. It's not perfect, but it's just to like push it a bit further. This is optional, but the thing that actually does the job is preamp B. It doesn't have to be preamp B, it has to be just an upward compressor. I've set it to look at the range from 70 something to 150, so I set it to look at the range where the kick is. When not the thump, but the punch of the kick is. So where those are the frequencies where there's basically only kick in that range, as you can hear. And add a bit of bass. So what I've done, I've set out I can release to maximum because I don't want this compressor to actually compress things. I want it to work as a leveler. So if I am in the area when there's not much going on, like, or maybe here. So we are on build up, and I'm basically adding nothing. And when I go into the drop, it gives just a little bit. It's like 2-3 dBs, and actually if you listen closely, when I start over, it's gonna increase the amount that it boosts up, the gain that it boosts up, with every kick just a little bit, but only on the beginning. Yeah, did you see that? Especially first 2 kicks. The first one went like boom to 1 dB, and the second one went to 2 dBs. And it mostly stayed at 2 to 3 dBs. So basically what it does, it increases the volume of the drops that are not like loud enough, because some of them are louder, but like 2-3 dBs, around 2 dBs. So it gives you just like 2 dBs more on the drops, and this changes the original song. So if you are not mixing 2 songs simultaneously, but from here is the original build-up, it's actually gonna lower the volume of the build-up just a tiny bit and make the drop a bit louder. So you are actually are getting more dynamics. It's not like over dynamic, so when somebody listens to that on like in the car or like smaller volume, it's still gonna sound fine, and you're still gonna, well, like as you can hear right now, you can clearly hear the build-up. The drop just has a bit more power. It's not that limited. So then what I do, I remove all of the excessive lows. I just cut around 30K. If I separate everything from below 30, as you can see from the reading, it's actually playing something. If I pull up the meter, so right now we are, and then I go down, and yeah, momentary LFS drop to 40 something from 50, yeah, so it drops like 25 dBs. Yeah, I removed that to just get a bit of an extra headroom, and also sometimes it sounds good like live, but it might not sound that good on the recording. So just a little bit. I don't want to go too far, because if I go 40 Hertz, you can actually hear the thumping. So I go around 30 Hertz just to be able to, like, I have -1 on 33 Hertz. And I go with the steepness of 36 dBs per octave. So it's steep, but not very steep. The only thing that I want to do is to keep the dynamics in check, so when there are 2 songs playing simultaneously, they are not too loud. Then we go to limiting. Why can I limit and not kill all of those drops that actually go like beyond like 6 dB? Like this one. This one actually limits about 2 dBs, but this one boosts it over 2 dBs, and remember, we also have a transient shaper that boosts like dB or 2. So actually the drop is in the end like 2 dB louder, and the limiter just normalizes the peaks, like it just squeezes them a tiny bit. What we end up getting is a file that in the quieter parts does not have like there's like a tiny bit. There's basically no limiting on the drop, and then there's like a second song coming in, and it's too loud. So this limiter just goes a bit more, like this. Yeah, but I don't want to kill those drops. I just want to have the levels intact. So what I'm doing here, I go +6 dB. And I go with the mode that keeps the unity gain. So basically it goes +6 dBs, it limits, then it goes -6 dBs. I do want true peak limiting. I go 4 times oversampling because I have 2 limiters set up. This one goes +6 and this one goes +8. So basically this limiter will do maximum of 2 dBs, well actually 2.1, something like that. It's doing 2 dBs, and this one will do the rest. Also won't do more than like 2 dBs. So I just split the work so the one limiter does not work too hard. I went with heavy punch mode. It sounds just a little bit better. So the most important thing for you to figure out, because you can pretty much copy the settings of the frequency of the kick, tricky part is getting up the threshold, because you don't want a ton of range. I went with like 6 dBs and like ratio of 10, but it does not do more like than 3 actually. And so basically what I've done is I first went to a quieter part that is not a drop. On the part when there's pretty much no bass, it does not do anything, and then the bass kicks in and it does just a tiny bit, like a decibel. But I don't want pretty much anything on the part that are not drop. And then you have build up less than a decibel. Nice. Let me just script through a bit, and then we go into the drop and it's gonna, yeah, and we are now over 2. So we get at least 1 decibel more on drop than we get on the other part. And because the attack and release are so slow, it's not really compression, it's leveling. So it's just like riding the fader very slowly, as you can see by this line. Basically, this file went from around -15 in LOFS to around -12. You can push it a bit further. Still, you basically did not lose any dynamics. You even gain a bit of dynamics. If you wanna, you can push those limiters a bit more. When the drops is louder, it does less. When the drop is quieter, it does more. So it basically levels the drops. One more thing, because this technique is not perfect, this reacts to peaks. It does not react to RMS or UFS. It does not have any window. Yeah, so there you have it. You don't have to use fancy transient shaper like Neutron. You can use something free. You have the transient shaper from Kilohertz. Yeah, so it was a bit too long, but thanks for watching. This is how you do it, and let me give you a quick comparison. Those are both volume matched. So this one's a tiny bit more power on the drop. Yeah, just a tiny bit. And when you go to build up, this will be quieter than this one. Yeah, the upper one was like at least dB louder. When you go from build up to drop, you have more, because the build-up's quieter. Actually, a huge difference, those 2 dBs. So not only increase the overall loudness, but you actually get more dynamics. Yeah, that's all folks. Have a great one.